Hey math fans! Today we're going to be learning about finding the least common multiple. But to start, I'd like to just take a look at these fractions to warm up. On the left side, I have eighths. Because if I had 8 of these fractions, I would have a whole. And I have 6 pieces of them, so that's 6/8. On the right, I have fourths. Because if I had 4 of these pieces, it would make a whole. And I have 3 of them, so that's 3/4. But if I asked you to add them together, right now we wouldn't be able to, because they're not cut into the same size pieces. So before I can add them together, I have to cut them into the same size pieces. So let's go ahead and do that, and let's turn the fourths into eighths. If I cut these guys right down the middle, now I have the same size pieces across the board. I have eighths everywhere. Because, take a look. Notice that 2/8 equals a fourth. Pretty nifty, huh? So, what I did is I multiplied each of these pieces into two pieces. So now instead of having 3/4, I have 6/8. So really what I just did was added 6/8 plus 6/8. Okay? I still have eighths, so I'm going to keep that in my same fraction. You don't add the bottom, because we still have eighths here. But now I have 6 greens and 6 yellows, so that gives me 12/12ths. And you guys just learned how to turn improper fractions into mixed numbers. So 8 goes into 12 once, and there's 4 left over out of 8, which can be reduced if I divided each of these by 2. So total, my final answer is I have 1 whole, let's call this pizza, and then I have half left. So I can divide by 4 here. Divide by 4, and that simplifies to 1/2. 1 and 1/2. Okay. Next slide. Finding the least common multiple. I think first, to find out how to do this, I think it's easiest to break down what each of these words mean. So what is a multiple? The multiples of a number are what you get when you multiply it by other numbers. So, for example, if I took the number 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, and so forth. If I kept going, I'd be listing the multiples of 2. So that's what a multiple is. Alright, what does common multiple mean? When you list the multiples of 2 or more numbers and find the same value in both lists, then that is a common multiple of those numbers. Think about the word common. What do you have in common with your friends? You might have in common that you both are artistic, or you're both athletes, or you're both friendly. So those are common traits that you have. So when we look at common multiples, we're looking at numbers that they both have. So for example, when you write down the multiples of 4 and 5, the common multiples are those that are found in both lists. So if we look here at the multiples of 4, we've got a match with 5 when we hit the number 20. We also have a common multiple when we hit 40. So there's a couple common multiples that we found here. Notice that 20 and 40 appear in both lists. So the common multiples of 4 and 5 are 20 and 40. And there's more if we kept going, 60, 80, etc. Okay, so now what is the least common multiple? Well, it's simply the smallest of the common multiples that we found. In our previous example, the smallest of the common multiples was 20, not 40. Okay. Now finding the least common multiple is really pretty easy. You just start listing the multiples of the numbers until you get a match. So if you found the least common multiple of 3 and 5, we'd list all the multiples of 3 and all the multiples of 5. And as you can see, the first time the multiples match up is with 15. 15. So I can even just draw a circle around this. Okay. All right. Now here's a cool website that lists the multiples of two numbers and tells you the least common multiple. So I'll just click on that real quick to show you. It's pretty nifty, so if you want to check it out at home, you can do that tonight. All right, let's see. Just give it a second to load. Okay, if I type in a number, let's say 15, and let's type in the number 12, it lists all the multiples for you, and then you can easily see what the least common multiple is. So 15's got 15, 30, 45, 60. 12's got 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. There's our match at 60. So that's the least common multiple. You can try it with other numbers too. Let's try 3 and 7. Okay, there we see 21 is the least common multiple. So you can go ahead and give that a try at home. It's mathisfun.com, least common multiple tool. All right, and our final page, we're going to try to do some right now. So first, let's do the first one together. So you can pause the video and try to do this on your own right now, and then unpause it and see if our answers match. All right, welcome back. We've got 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, and I know that 5's multiples all end in 0 and 5, so I'm assuming that 55 is going to be our first multiple. So let's go ahead and list them out. 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and indeed our first match is 55. Let's just go ahead and circle those. Okay. Cool, so there's your least common multiple. Now at home, I want you to try on your own to do these three. Find a least common multiple for 3 different numbers. So you're going to list all the multiples of 8, multiples of 4, and multiples of 6. Well, not all of them, but list several until you find a match between all 3. And we will come in tomorrow and share what our least common multiples are. And the one other thing I'd like you to do for tomorrow is create a quick 3-question quiz with an answer key about my lesson. So you could ask questions like, what does it mean to have something in common? Or what does the word multiple mean? Or even give a question like, find the least common multiple of 7 and 8. Okay? So come in tomorrow with a quick quiz and answer key, and with the least common multiple of these 3 numbers, 8, 4, and 6. All right, have a great night.